Years ago, but the guy had arms the size of hot water heater, and I just all of a sudden decided I'm going to try it anyway. And is there anybody in here over 40?
No.
7 of you. Okay, well, anyway, I'm definitely over 40. And I was single for a lot of years because I wasn't married, and I played in a group called the Florida Boys Quartet. And I was single over all those years, and I was with them almost a decade, 9 years or something. And they said it seemed like 50, and if you didn't catch that, just hang on. Somebody said, "Is that one of the coats you're wearing from the choir yesterday?" And I said, "Yeah, while they were singing, the bus was open, there was a few empty coats, and I tried one on, and it fit, and Joey's gone, and here we go, brand new wardrobe." They won't get it back till next year. But anyway, but when I was with the Florida Boys, I would take my Christmas vacation because I didn't have a wife or kids or anything, and I had a couple of buddies that were single, and we would go caving, spelunking, and go up in the mountains, and then and just in primitive camp and go caving. And on Sundays when I go camping, I like to try to find a little country church if I can somewhere and go to church and put on my best pair of jeans I got that day and knock some of the mud off my boots. But if I'm somewhere out on the road, I like to go and visit the church. And something happened when the church gave me an idea for a song. And I don't know where you are that requested this, but I'm going to try it. This is kind of the way I wrote it. I used to do it by track, by a little guitar. It says, "Well, I went camping just a while back with a couple of high school friends. And on Sunday morning I wanted to find a church to worship in. So I packed my truck and I headed out. I saw it in a cloud of dust. It was the Ebenezer Fellowship, non-denominational Baptist Free Will Church. Well, when I walked in, it was time to start, and that little church was packed. There was only one seat on the very front row, even though I really wanted the back. So I cried down and I took a seat, and a hush fell over the place. As a sweet little gray-haired woman walked up and said, "Boy, I've got something to say. Folks around here call me Granny. I'm as sweet as I can be. Well, I volunteer for everything. They couldn't make it without me. I teach Sunday school, I sew and bake, while I'm even in charge of the Christmas play. And there's only one thing I ask in return, and it's a lesson you should learn. Don't sit in my pew. You know it belongs to me. I've been sitting right here at least 40 years, and that's the way it's going to be. I can tell that you are new around here, so you better get one thing clear. If you know what's good for you, don't sit in my pew." Well, I walked to the back of the church, and I was feeling just about as tall as a flea when one of those deacons walked up and handed me a brown, ice-cold metal folding chair. So I sat out there at the aisle, and I listened to the choir as they sang, "I shall not be moved." And then the preacher looked at me and said, "You know, most people don't catch that. Y'all are smart, but." And the preacher looked at me and said, "You know, we want our special guests to stay when the service is over with for some of Granny's red velvet cake." And that's what I did. But just about the time they said the blessing, I looked down and noticed that I didn't have a fork. So I just thought, I'll ease back there in the kitchen, find the utensil drawer, and help myself. And that's what I did. But just about the time I found that utensil drawer, somebody walked up from behind and spun me around, and see if you can guess who it was. "Stay out of my kitchen, boy. You know it belongs to me." Put your hands together. "Stay out of my kitchen, boy. You know it belongs to me. You have cooking in here at least 40 years, and that's the way it's gonna be. I can tell that you are new around here, so you better get one thing clear. I'm gonna need your help now. If you know what's good for you, stay out of my pew." And then she reached right up and kissed me on the cheek and said, "Granny hopes you come back next week. But if you do the next time, don't get my parking space. Don't sing so loud. Wear a coat and tie. Come early enough for Sunday school. Give a whole lot of money to the Lonnie Moon project we got going on. But most of all, I can tell that you are new around here, so you better get one thing clear. If you know what's good for you, say it with me. Don't sit in my pew.